Singer-songwriter Adele persuades Spotify to change the shuffle option on albums. Hello, this is News Review. I'm Rob, and this is coming to you from BBC Learning English. And joining me today is Neil. Hi, Neil.
Hello, Rob, and hello, everyone. If you want to test yourself on the vocabulary you hear in this programme, there's a quiz on our website, bbclearningenglish.com. Let's find out some more about that story about Spotify and Adele from this BBC News Bulletin.
Spotify has stopped automatically shuffling albums after Adele pointed out that musicians put a lot of thought into track listings. The shuffle symbol will still appear on individual songs, so users will be able to start listening to albums on any track and opt for them to be played in a random order.
So the British singer-songwriter Adele has released a new album called 30, and she has asked Spotify for them to remove the shuffle function, for that to appear automatically. She's asked for that to be removed because she, like a lot of musical artists, say they put a lot of time and effort into deciding the running order, the list, the order that the songs come in. They think it's part of the artistic process and that the shuffle ruins that. She's asked Spotify to change it, and they have.
Good. And you've picked 3 words and expressions from newspaper headlines about this story, haven't you? What are they?
I have. We have default, bows to, and obliged.
That's default, bows to, and obliged. OK, let's have a look at your first newspaper headline, please.
Sure. The headline comes from The Times, which is a British newspaper, and it reads, Adele persuades Spotify to remove shuffle as default option on albums.
That's default, standard, first option.
Yeah. Now, Rob, you know when you get a new mobile phone?
Yeah.
Is it set up in exactly the way you like to use it?
No, never. It comes with default factory settings. It's how the company want it set up.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way that it's set up. And if you want to change it to the way you like, what do you have to do?
Yeah, I personalise the settings. So I set it up in a way that, or the way I want to use it, not the default settings, as you say.
Yeah, so you personalise or customise, we often say as well.
Yeah.
The settings, the default settings are the ones that come as standard.
And sometimes we see this word with by at the beginning, by default.
Yes, right, and that's slightly different. When we say that something has happened by default, that means that there has been, or there is, no other option. So what we are left with is as a result of there being no choice.
No options, yeah. A bit like our BBC Learning English football match. Something happened by default there, didn't it?
Yes. We got together a BBC Learning English football team. Nobody wanted to go in goal, but Rob, being the kind of guy that he is, he volunteered to be the goalkeeper. So he kind of became the keeper by default. It wasn't really anybody's choice. Didn't work out very well, did it, Rob?
No. Well, I'm not the best goalie in the world, and I let in 10 goals, but that's what happens when I become goalie by default, of course. It was disaster.
Yes, 10-0. Yes, if something happens by default, it's not always the best result because, as we said, it's something that happened through a lack of choice and option.
And there's a verb form of this word, is that right?
Yes, the verb to default. We default on something, so you can default on a loan. For example, in financial terms, it means that you didn't pay something that you were supposed to pay.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Let's have a summary of that word. Now, many people think that Adele has a beautiful voice, she sings really well, but apparently you don't have to sing in tune. Well, that's according to a discussion with Georgina and Neil on 6 Minute English, and you can hear that discussion by how, Neil?
You just got to click on the link. Click on the link to hear about singing even if you have a really bad voice.
Down below, thank you. Right, let's have a look at your next headline, please.
Yes, the next headline comes from the Bangkok Post, and it reads, Spotify bows to Adele, drops shuffle as album song playing default.
That's bows to, agrees to someone's demands.
Yes, bows to, a phrasal verb there, as you say, agrees to someone's demands. Now, it's useful to break this up. The first part is bows or bow, and if you bow, Rob, what do you do?
Yes, so I move from a higher position to a lower position. A bit like this. I might do it if I bump into the Queen, for example. If the Queen is out walking out and about, I am traditionally supposed to bow to her because she's in a sort of a higher position of authority. She has more power than me.
Yes, that's right. So in a lot of cultures where bowing takes place, it's a sign of respect. You lower yourself to show that the other person is in some way superior, sometimes just out of politeness. But used in this headline, in this expression, bow to something, it means to allow the other party, the other person to display their power over you.
Could we say we're giving in? We're giving in to the other power,
Another
the higher
way
authority.
of saying it is to give in. That means you let somebody else impose their demands on you. So Spotify bowed figuratively to Adele. It means that Adele had greater power in this situation.
And it's quite a formal a phrase. I mean, would I bow to your demands? If you asked me to make a cup of tea, would I bow to you?
It would sound very over the top, very formal. It's not really for little incidents like that. You might use it ironically to make it sound more important than it was.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, let's have a summary of that phrase. So that was bows to, a phrasal verb, and we have a whole programme about phrasal verbs. It's English class, and you can watch that. Well, tell us how, Neil.
Click the link below.
Down below, thank you. Right, let's have a look at your next newspaper headline, please.
Okay, the next headline comes from NPR, the American radio station, and it reads, Adele asked Spotify to remove the default shuffle button for albums, and they obliged.
So that's obliged, agreed or forced to do something.
Yeah, it's basically do what somebody asks you to do. And in this expression, in this headline, it means that Adele asked for this thing and Spotify did what she asked. They obliged as a verb there.
And that comes from the noun word, an obligation, when you have to do something.
Yes, so obligation is the noun that describes this kind of situation. So, for example, Rob, you and I work for BBC Learning English, and therefore it is our obligation to do news review.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, it means we have to do it. We could also say, could we, that we feel obliged to do it as an adjective form, is that right?
Feel obliged to do something. Yes, it means that you feel that you have to do something. You feel that it's your responsibility to do something. And we also have this expression, much obliged.
Yes, it's quite an old-fashioned expression, isn't it? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, that's slightly different. That is basically another way of saying thank you. So if somebody does a favour for you or does something for you and you feel obliged, you feel thanks towards them, we can say much obliged.
Like if you help me out with my biscuit shortage and you provided your biscuits, I go, much obliged, Neil.
Exactly, Rob, exactly. That's a brilliant example, as ever.
Right, well, much obliged, Neil. Let's have a summary of that word. Okay, Neil, could you recap the vocabulary that we've been talking about today, please?
Yes, we had default, standard first option. Bows to is persuaded to do something. And obliged, agreed or forced to do something.
Thank you. And don't forget you can test yourself on these words and expressions in a quiz that's on our website at bbclearningenglish.com. And don't forget you can check us out on all the main social media platforms. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching us. See you again next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.